Hey everybody, in this video we're taking a beginner's look at a techno beat. This is what it's going to sound like. So we're going to make it, all right? And I'll start off by opening a fresh project. So new project. And we're just going to quickly grab a few samples. And I'll take this opportunity just to quickly show you this cool website / piece of software called Splice, okay? So Splice is a website. You jump on that website and you scroll through all of the sounds that they've got. And if you subscribe, you can download for the base level subscription, you can download up to 100 samples a month. And yeah, they've got some really cool sample packs. So this is the device that you install on your computer. And then you can see my library, recently added sounds, and I can come in here and I can hear what it is I've got. So I've got a clap, which I'm going to use. So I'll drag that into Ableton. So just clicking and dragging lets you move samples into the Ableton arrangement view. That's a kick. I'll take this kick, I prefer it. Take that because I'm going to cut something out of it. Take that vinyl noise. But everything else we can probably make for ourselves. So that's Splice. It's pretty cool. Let's jump into it. So I've pulled all of these into my Ableton arrangement, right? And I'll put them all on the same channel. And I'm going to set my BPM to start with. So the BPM of the track is going to be 125. That's pretty standard techno speed, maybe 128. It's more conventional. But we'll come to this first audio channel. We'll go Control R and we'll call this kick. We'll grab the kick drum and we'll drop it on the first beat of the bar. So because we're dealing with techno is a 4 on the floor beat style music, right? So when you're looking at one bar of musical time, it's broken up into quarter notes here. And on each of those quarter notes, there'll be a kick drum. Just like that. So I click on this kick drum, and as long as it's a quarter note long, I can go Control D, Control D, Control D to just duplicate it across. Otherwise, I could click it, I could hold Control, which would copy it as I drag across, or I could click Control C, click Control V, Control V, Control V. So now I've got 2 bars of kick drums, right? And I've got this one clap. So the kick is going to happen on every beat. The clap is going to happen on every second beat. So we'll go kick, clap, clap. Okay, so we grab the clap, we place it here, and we place it here. So the kick occupies 1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4. The clap occupies 1.2 and 1.4. And the beginning of that beat. So that doesn't mean you could put it in the middle there. For this pattern, I mean, play around with where you place it, but for this pattern, that's where we're going to put it. So I'm going to select that 2 bar period of time and go Control L just to put a loop brace on. And let's have a listen to what that sounds like. Okay, so very, very, very simple to start with. Now, what we're going to do is we'll just grab all these channels and we're just going to pull them down a bit because you can see it's just clipping on the master. And it is good practice for us to not have it redlining down here. So let's... Okay. Okay, what we'll do is we're going to add our first little piece of variation to the clap. So I'll click on this name and go Control R, clap. And I'm going to click, I'm going to hold Control to duplicate it, and I'm going to place another clap right on that last 16th note. So I changed it to 16th notes. I'll do all of that again. I did it too quick. So I had it on quarter notes. I right-clicked, changed it to 16ths. I grabbed that clap. I held Control. I dragged it, and I placed it on the last 16th note. So let's have a listen to how that sounds. Okay, cool. So it's adding a little bit of variation at the end of every second bar. So next, I'm going to take this loop, and I'm going to have a listen to it just soloed. So I press the soloed here. Okay, so I like that, and I like the shaker. But I don't necessarily like anything else in there. So I don't like that donk. It's gross. Let's cut it out. Okay, so cut that out. So what I could do is I could just take that. Okay, so I want that shaker. Maybe what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll right click on the channel and start another audio channel. Okay, so here we have the shaker. So I'm going to just select that area, and I'm going to click, and I'm going to drag it away, right? So I'm just making it basically its own little clip. I'm going to grab that, pull it short. I'm going to click here just by clicking on the bottom half of the audio clip. If I click the top half, it's going to select it. Bottom half will just let me select that area, and then I can go Control E, and that slices, and then I can delete that. So now I've got shaker and that little sort of half clap, half kind of knocking sort of sound. I change it to 30-second note divisions, and I can just pull that, and then I can just put a tiniest little fade on the end there, and maybe a little tiny intro fade too. And on this, I'm going to fade off. Great. So now I've got clap. I've got this little knocking kind of percussive sound, which maybe is a clap as well. I'm not sure what they would label that as, but I'll just call it perk 1, and this we'll call it shake. Oh. I've got this new keyboard. It's a mechanical keyboard, and I keep mashing the keys and typing the wrong thing. So apologies for the shocking display of keyboard skills. So we'll just leave that over to the side for now, that little perk, but we'll take the shaker and we're going to arrange it, okay? So I know that I want kick and then a shaker to be basically in the middle between all of my kicks. So this is, if we change the grid to 8th notes, that's one 8th note, that's another 8th note. So I want the shaker to sit on the second 8th note, and I want it to play every second 8th note, okay? So if I go Control D to copy that across, now let's have a listen to all of our pattern together. Okay, so that's definitely now starting to sound more and more like a nice sort of techno beat. Next, what I can do is I'm just going to put it on 16th notes, and maybe we'll play around with chucking this random dude in here every now and then. So maybe we'll put him there, maybe we'll put it there, and maybe there. Let's just see how it sounds. Let's have a listen. I think it works there, but maybe these other times it doesn't work so well. So I'll just click on it and I'll press 0 to get rid of it. Okay, and I'll press 0 to get rid of that one. I don't mind it here either. So we're just doing a little bit of trial and error to get our placements, okay? Okay, I like it here, and I think that we could maybe make a point of doing it a few times. So that one, no. That one, no. I want it to sort of maybe feel a little bit lazy. Maybe we need it to be even further back. No, too fast. That works. So yeah, okay, maybe it works all right. Let's just roll with it for now. We don't want to dwell on things for too long. So next what we're going to do is we can go ahead and create even another audio channel. We'll grab the clap, we'll click on it, we'll hold control and we'll drag down. So now we've got the clap down on this channel, the clap. Now we've got the clap. That's not a good thing to get told. So we can click that, we can press reverse, and we can, so what I did is, sorry, let me do that again. You press R and that reverses the sample. The other way to do it is you come into the audio tab down here and you can click reverse here, right? R is a really simple way of doing that though. Let's have a listen. We'll pull that down. Let's pull it down, say 20 decibels. Okay. Great. So that's just a little piece of flair that we've essentially added into this track. So we'll go Control R and rename Rev Clap, Reverse Clap. Maybe we could zero that out. I actually like it when they're layered together. That's better. So. And on this, we could put some effects and stuff on it. We won't get into the effects just now, actually. I'll make sure that we get all of the layers in here that we want. So the next, let's do some hi-hats, okay? And this time I'm gonna use a MIDI channel. I'll come over here and we'll just grab a drum rack and we'll quickly chuck a sample in it. We're only gonna use one sample. We'll go to Bill Hats, Mr. Bill Hats, we'll come here. That hat's fine, cool, the first one we select. We'll right click, we'll put it on 16th note grid. We'll select the whole area of those two bars, Control Shift M, and we'll just make sure that we're on 16th notes inside here. Click, Control D, copy that across, select all that, just go nuts, cool. So now we've got this. Okay, so it's not very interesting, but we're gonna make it interesting. And in order to do that, first of all, I'm just gonna turn my webcam off. So bear with me a moment, I'm just gonna disappear. Okay, so my webcam's gone and we've revealed the groove pool underneath my camera, okay? So what the groove pool is it lets us add a humanizing feel to something very rigid. So this is very rigid. We're gonna make it more interesting. So first what we could do is maybe we could tighten up the sample. Let's see whether it sounds any better if we tighten it up a little bit. And in order to do that, we've dropped it in here. It's in a simpler at the moment, right? And we can use the fade out function to actually tighten up the envelope on it. So if we have a listen now. Maybe that sounds good like that. And then what we'll do is we're going to right click in here and we can go browse the groove library. We're going to come to the MPC and we're going to scroll down until we see 16ths because this is a 16th note pattern. We want swing, that's 16th notes. And if we have a listen just to this, that rhythmic pattern that you can hear is what we would end up applying to this. So let's listen to it one more time. So then I'll apply it to the hi-hats and we'll listen to the hi-hats. You can gently hear it, but if I turn that velocity parameter up, see it's at 35% now. If I make it 100, now you can really hear the pulsing, okay? Let's try this one here. I quite like it. Turn it up to 100 velocity. It's definitely got a sort of mesmerizing techno feel to it. Let's listen to it all together and just make sure it sounds right. And then I'll reappear with the webcam. So let's have a listen to everything together. okay, the pulsing of the rhythm sounds great. We just need to kind of mix it in properly with the rest of everything else. So I'll just bring back my webcam. I'm back and let's carry on with the tutorial. So we'll bring it down in volume. So now what we've done is we've got all of these sounds, and let's say that for now, maybe we've got everything we need. Let's try one more thing. Let's just try putting a little subtle sort of shaker constantly in the background. So I'll go, I'm going to tab to Splice, and I'm just going to type in here, shaker. I know I've got some shaker loops, so let's have a listen to my library. Something like that's cool. So drop that in there. Let's have a listen to it. Okay, it sounds great, but what we need to do is, if we have a listen to it, the warping on it's kind of made this hit in particular a bit strange. So let's go ahead, keep it on beats, but we're going to preserve the 16th notes, okay? And then we're going to change this pattern across to one shot, okay? So it's going to play this through and it's going to preserve the 16th note transients. And then we can tighten it up a bit with the volume envelope. See, already it doesn't sound strange and glitchy. If I change that back to transients, that sounds really strange, right? That sounds great. Let's pull this down so I can tighten this up. Have a listen. So that we've lost volume. That lets much more of the sound through. Let's put it around, say 50. Cool. And then let's listen to the kick. Okay, the shaker. The other percussion. The clap. The reverse, and then the drum rack. And then finally, one last thing. We're going to use a ride. Ride. Cool, that one's fine. Drop it in here. And we're just going to randomly place it. Oops, daisy. Cool, that's great. Let's just loop that around. No problems at all. We'll go Control J to consolidate it. And then what we're going to do again, we'll do that same trick that we did with the shakers. We'll put it on 16th notes, we'll put it on the one shot, and then we're going to tighten it. Cool. So now we've added even more rhythm to that. Okay, so now we've got a really nice bunch of rhythmic percussion happening all together, okay? So we're going to do some housekeeping. We're going to come here, hi-hat, okay? We're going to come here, shaker loop. We're going to come here, ride, okay? Grab all of it, go Control G, group it. Perk. You could call this drums or perk or whatever you want to call it. I'm going to call it perk. Okay. And now we can do a little bit of mixing. Okay. So at the moment, everything's in the middle. This is a stereo sample. But other than that, everything's pretty much mono. That's got a little bit of stereo. All of the samples have a little bit of stereo, but they're essentially sort of sitting in the middle of the mix. Like, let's just say that. Let's just lie. Let's grab a utility, and we're going to use a utility to... Now you might get confused why I'm going to do that. Instead, we'll use the pan pots here, okay? So let's solo the kick, solo the shaker. We're going to put the shaker in its own spot. Okay, so that would be all the way to the right. That would be all the way to the left. What we want is we want to move it so that it's in its own space. And I'm going to start moving stuff around. Okay, so I might push that even a little bit further out. Okay, I'm going to add the clap in. So the clap, I don't want to push it too far. And I'm going to put the reverse on the same side as it, okay? This hat will balance it out by pushing it over here. And then we're going to bring the volume down. I just want a really gentle amount of that. The shaker. What we're going to do with the shaker is we'll pan it so that it's constantly moving between the two. Okay, so what we could do with to start with, this is a cool little technique. We grab the utility, we drop it on there. Okay, at the moment the utility says stereo. What we can do is instead of stereo, we can just take the left or the right channel information. So let's listen to the left. Let's listen to the right. What do we like more? I like that because it's more subtle, right? So now it's just playing us the left channel information, but it's playing it mono, right? It's only playing the left channel, but it's monoing it. Now what we can do is we can go auto pan and we can turn the amount up to say 40%. And now it's going between. And now if we play it all together, and if I put the auto pan on the right as well. And what I can do with the auto pan is I can move the phase of it. So if I move that, put it on say 90, it's going to move at a slightly different rate. Okay, cool. And then finally, what we're going to do is we're going to add some reverb to all of this because percussion needs reverb, and it'll put a bit of life into it. So we can come here, we can go insert a return track. We can come down here, we can grab a reverb, and we can drop it on there. Okay, so we've got our own reverb. What we're going to do is we're going to put it on high quality. We're going to put the dry wet up to 100%, and then we're going to set this at around, let's say, 800 milliseconds. We'll refine that a little bit. What we're going to do is we're going to tab over to the web browser and we're going to look at a musical timing calculator. Okay, so this is a musical calculator. Musical timing calculator. We set our BPM, 125, and we come over here and we select the delay division. So in this case, I want 30-second notes. And I can see that a 30-second note is 60 milliseconds. Okay, so we're done with this now. We know that, and you're going to see very soon what that's for. So inside the pre-delay for the reverb, I can set that to 60 milliseconds. And if I solo that shaker and then send all of that shaker into that reverb, you're going to hear the shaker hit, but then there's a slight delay, and then you actually hear the reverb applied. So if I doubled that to 120, it's even more dramatic, right? So we'll keep it on 60. and we'll bring that down to say 15, but actually we'll bring that down to nothing, and we'll send the same amount of reverb to everything. So now if I turn that reverb off, everything comes a little bit more dull. Turn it back on, it breathes a little bit of life. And we can turn the high cut off so that we're bringing in high frequencies. And if we bring it up a bit more to say -10, now you can definitely hear the brightness change. Okay, so let's have a listen to our final loop one time through and see what we've made. Cool. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. There's a bunch of cool little techniques in there. Take those ideas, experiment with them, and I'll see you in the next video.